Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, welcome to the pre-show, the Geek Smack pre-show, which I do every single Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time. How you doing? Of course, in an hour, Microsoft is going to be telling the world about their new CEO, which is pretty exciting. So we're going to check that out. And then, of course, do a lot more. But first of all, we're going to talk. This is the vlog section. This is the extended area where I talk about things that happen with me in life and go from there. And this is you only see this on youtube.com/Geekazine. Think magazine, put in a geek, you've got Geekazine. And this is just basically what's going on in the world in my week and get ready for the show notes. So check it all out over at Geekazine. Of course, we're live up on Geekazine.com. Go over to Geekazine.com for that. And then just go up and say hi. How's it going? What's the world like? Geekazine@gmail.com. Twitter handle Geekazine. It's all pretty same place for everything. So it's been a great week. Got all my CES, the main video, the live videos done. Now I'm gonna have to put up the single interviews, and you'll be seeing them on Geekazine and TPN.TV as we go. So that'll be pretty cool. I'm hoping that the UPS person doesn't show. I've got a couple packages that I'm waiting for, and they're supposed to show up today. So hopefully that'll happen after the fact. But usually this stuff they normally set on the doorstep so I can pick up and go from there. So I'm not too worried about it. But if I see it, if the doorbell rings, that's probably going to be the reason why. I don't think I have to sign for anything, so I'm good there. Next week is Tech Cocktail in Las Vegas. I'm really excited about this because it's the downtown Las Vegas project. Tony Hsieh from Zappos. He is putting $350 million into this downtown project. And I'm going to go down there and I'm going to be part of Tech Cocktail. I'm going to be doing a lot of video interviews and stuff like that. Try and get a handle on what this downtown Las Vegas startup scene is going to be all about, because I think it's really exciting. You don't know how excited I really am for Las Vegas, downtown Las Vegas, to become a startup scene. I don't know why. I mean, I love San Francisco. I love Austin. They're great startup scenes. Never been to Colorado's startup scene. But going to Las Vegas and seeing what they're doing there, it's mind-blowing. It really is. So I can't wait to see what's going on there. And of course, I'm going to get some really in-depth information as we go next week. And I have to thank the folks over at VEAM, VEEAM. They have stepped forward and they said, yes, we will take care of your plane ticket. And we worked out a deal on that. You'll if you listen to the Day in Tech History, you'll find out more about VEAM. But virtual. In fact, let's go over to their website right now. But they have stepped forward and they are going to be taking care of the travel arrangement information for this trip to downtown Las Vegas for Tech Cocktail. So thank you very much. Let's go over there. I met him a couple years ago when I went to I went to a couple HP events and I met him there, I think, and then I really met him at VMworld because they're all about VM backup, and they've got lots of different programs there for data protection, and legacy backup for virtual managed that backup for corporate companies. Corporate companies. That's a word, right? Companies. So you get your backup going there. Of course, they've got a lot of this is for a lot of enterprise people. If you're running Windows Server, if you're running Sphere 5.5 right here, you've got different options here. So thanks a lot to V for being a part, and of course I'll have all the official. This is VM and this is what they're about as we go in the weeks to come. So here's what's going to happen this week. We're going to have, of course, we're having the show. Next week, no show, because I will be in Vegas for that. and then I will be back the week after that. So we'll take a week off, and then I'll be back the week after that, a couple weeks, and then of course the next trip is South by Southwest. Now, you want to help? You want to help with South by Southwest? Let me know. We've got some great opportunities, sponsorship packages available for South by Southwest. I once again I need to find travel down there. I've got a place to stay, so a friend of mine is taking care of that, helping me out there, and should be great. Having I got my press pass and everything like that, so I'm good to go. I just need to get down there. Simple as that. And there might be a possibility that I'm staying down there a little bit longer. So we'll see what happens. But got a couple irons in the oven or in the fire, whatever you want to call it. So we'll see what happens. But it should be a great. If anything, it will definitely be a great interactive South by Southwest. And then we'll see what happens about the rest of it. So, all right. What else is going on? Oh yeah, I don't know if you saw this, but we've got a new blogger up on Geekazine. Adi from MHF Tech. MHF Tech is blogging. He's posting about games. In fact, he's got this great article. I forgot. I got to put it into the notes here. Let me just do this really quick. Boo doo 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 doo. He's talking about this game. I guess it's on Kickstarter right now. It is called, let me scroll down to it, Fist of Awesome. So it's a beat 'em up game, a time traveling lumberjack. You're beating up bears and stuff like that. You want the bears? There it is, Fist of Awesome. You want to take care of those bears, then you go from there. In fact, I gotta fix this. Hold on a second. This will only take a second. Yep, there we go. Guess I didn't get that one. There we go. Now I'm in frame. All right, so that's Fist of Awesome, and that's what Adi's doing over there. So congratulations. I'm gonna throw this into the show notes. Just go whoop, like that. There we go. What else have we got? Last night's Twig, this week in Google Glass. Awesome show. We had Libby Chang from Wearables Weekly. She was on the show, and it was amazing. It was a lot of fun. And then, of course, Luke Wallace got his new pair of Google Glass, and he also purchased some frames. So he will, because he wears glasses on a regular basis. So he's gonna put prescriptions into those frames and wear Google Glass prescriptions. So really cool. We talked about all of that, and we talked about the Super Bowl win and Golden Tate, who wore the Google Glass during that time. And we're talking about Georgia, and I guess there's going to be a Google Glass event in Georgia next week, February 8th and 9th. So actually, that's this weekend. So you can go down to Georgia, and you got to RSVP if you're in the Georgia area. So just remember, go down there, check out Google Glass, and see if it's right for you. Wearable technology. Got a lot of cool wearable technology there. But the podcast we did last night, it's all up. You can go over to twig.tv, twigg.tv, and check out the show. And lots of great. It was a great time. So thanks to Libby Chang for coming on. And if you have Google Glass, you want to be a guest, let me know, and we'll go from there. It's February album writing month. I've got my guitar poised right here, and I'm going to be setting it back down, but I'm also going to be writing some songs for the month of February. So, and I might host a couple hangouts where I will be part you can put together songs and go from there. So if you want to help me with those songs, I'm sorry, I thought I heard some voices. I'm hearing things anyway. So if you want to help me write a song or two, collaboration is what they're called. Check it out. Of course, February album writing month. Write 14 songs within 28 days. And I won't probably be doing 14 songs this year because, in all reality, my songwriting days, I still play music, but my songwriting days are kind of going past me, and it's time to move on. It's time to move on. So, anyway, interest. I thought I heard voices. I don't hear them anymore. That's crazy. Anyway, did you hear voices? Maybe it was just the guitar or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on from there. Where am I? What am I doing? What? Oh, hey, we're doing a show. Hey, how you doing? Doing a show. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. They won of course, they won the Super Bowl. Blowout in the Super Bowl. And, the coolest thing was here in Madison, it was more than just two teams playing Super Bowl that weren't, the Packers. Because Seattle Seahawks, their lead quarterback is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was here in Madison as the quarterback senior year. And he this was like 3 years ago he was the quarterback, and now he's a Super Bowl champion. So we're very proud of that. And of course, there are actually a few Wisconsin players they were on both teams. In fact, Monty Ball, who just graduated about a year ago, was on the Denver Broncos, and they got him into play towards the end of the game. He did what he couldn't do too much after all that happened. But the whole point is that we had a few Wisconsin players. Also in Seattle, on Seattle's side, the offensive coordinator is Darrell Bevell. And Darrell Bevell, he was the quarterback's coach for Minnesota when Brett Favre went back there. But he was the quarterback for the Wisconsin Badgers in '94 when we went to the Rose Bowl. And I actually had a few classes with Darrell Bevell. And so, he went around the time I went. So pretty cool stuff. All that comes to the fact that the Seattle Seahawks, we've got a little bit of hometown spirit coming in through the Seattle Seahawks. Now I know I have a lot of friends in Seattle that also are really happy for that win, but it's just really cool to see people, especially somebody I went to school with, technically, get a Super Bowl win like that. And that's awesome. So congratulations to everybody over at the Seahawks. It's amazing. So, hey, we've got a great show lined up for you today. And of course, the big topic is all about what's going on with credit cards. And another credit card hack issued yesterday, as some hotel chains found that they've gotten hacked, and we're going to talk about that. We've got some other great stuff. Of course, the big news is Microsoft's new CEO was announced this morning, and we're going to talk about that, of course. And then Bill Gates stepping down. Facebook, 10 years of Facebook, Twitter redesign, Google barge is told that they must move the barge, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So here's what's going to happen. Of course, you're going to see the Geek Smack logo, and just stick around, and it's going to be there for about 30 seconds maybe as I get everything ready for the show, and then we're going to get right into the show and go from there. So maybe there is somebody outside. I don't know. Anyway, I hear voices. I always hear voices. But anyway, that is it. We're going to get you started into Geek Smack. So stick back, just hang, and we'll be right back. You're watching episode number 290 of Geek Smack. Time for a new credit card system. Let's do it.
This is the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, welcome to another episode of Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you like credit cards are getting smacked left and right. We're going to talk about, is it time for a brand new credit card system? We also got about the information about the new CEO of Microsoft, Facebook turns 10, and more. Let's do it! I don't think I'm ready for that whole system. Of course, the new intro. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to Geek Smack, the show where we smack the geek out of you, like some YouTubers are smacking down on how they're making $120,000 a year. Yeah, okay, I have sympathy for you. We're going to talk about that. We've got a lot of great news. Of course, we're talking about Facebook. We're talking about Microsoft. Big news coming from the Microsoft campus. And, of course, we're doing it live at 2 p.m. Eastern. At 3 p.m. Eastern, they're going to have the official press conference. I'll be watching that as their new CEO comes and takes the stage. And we've got a lot of news on that. And, of course, we've got a lot more. But first of all, how are you doing? Are you having a great day? Is this the first time you've come to the show? Well, thank you very much for coming to the show. We do this every single Tuesday, live, Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for your consumption. And, of course, then I put it in a podcast form. You can collect it and eat it up a little bit later. So you can have a little bit now, and you can have your leftovers later. It's really good. You can do that there if you want. And go from there. I've talked about some changes. Of course, we've got the logo coming up and a couple other things happening. I might have some UPS door ringing happening while we're doing the show, but that's a part of doing the show. I won't be able to get up and just go get what the packages and stuff like that. Go from there. So anyway, really quick. What's going on is next week is I'm heading back. The friends over at VM, VEEAM, which is Virtual Managed Backup Company, they are going to help me get out to Las Vegas to Tech Cocktail and the Downtown Las Vegas project. I am so stoked. I am going to do as much video as I can. I've already got some stuff lined up, and of course, I'm going to talk to Dylan, but I might be a guest on their downtown podcast show. I can't wait for that. It's going to be really awesome. Plus, I'll be hanging with the guys from Name Tag and Power Glass and seeing what they're up to, seeing how the month has changed for them. So that's going to be pretty cool. So thanks to VM for helping it out. And, of course, you'll find out more over on the Day in Tech History show, which is where we're going to talk about it a little bit more. And then when I get back, I'll just be, that's what the beginning of the show we'll talk about over at youtube.com/Geekazine. I do a live vlog before this, so if you want to catch it live or just catch the YouTube version, you go over to youtube.com/Geekazine, think magazine, put in a geek, you've got Geekazine, and then you can get that from there. Welcoming on a new blogger to Geekazine, Adi from MHF Tech. Thank you very much. He's going to actually be blogging about games. In fact, he just did a blog that we're going to talk about a little bit later, so keep tuned on that, and we'll go from there. It's also February Album Writing Month, FOM. I do this every single year. 14 songs, 28 days, that's the challenge. I'm probably not going to be doing 14 songs, but a couple of those songs I'm going to do is going to be music that I'm going to put into this show ultimately. So that should be a lot of fun. I've already come up with a couple ideas, and we'll see what happens from there. And last night's Twig, Libby Chang from Wearables Weekly showed up, and we talked about Wearables Weekly. We talked about what she does in San Francisco area with her Google Glass, and of course, Luke Wallace got the new pair of frames. You can now buy a pair of prescription frame glasses for your Google Glass. He got the frames. He's going to get the prescription put in, so we'll see what happens. But he's definitely got that set up, and we talk about that on last night's show. And, of course, congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. We're very proud of you here in Madison, Wisconsin, not only because Russell Wilson was the quarterback from UW-Madison. We actually had another quarterback from UW-Madison that was for the Seahawks, Darrell Bevel. I actually went to school with him, so I took a couple classes with him. And so congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks for winning the Super Bowl. That's a great feat. Now, that's all said and done. Let's get into your Tech Smack for today. And, of course, Tech Smack is brought to you by our friends over at Carbonite.com. Backup now, backup often, backup off-site. Everyone can survive that computer disaster that needs to. Did you know that 43% of computers lose their photos, music, documents, and more? It's an alarming rate. And you can do some simple stuff to back up and make sure that you have all those files. Now, you say, well, I got, this USB drive that I plug in and I back it up there. And that's great. But manage time management. I've done this and several times, and then when it's time to look for that one photo for that one document, I have to go through like 2 or 3 USB drives, and then I find that it's no longer on any of the drives. What the heck happened there? That's why you need a program like Carbonite, because they keep it organized for you. You can back up the computer, you do incremental backups, and it does it automatically. It encrypts your files, and you can do it from any computer. You can pull it from any computer. And I told you, when I went to CES an hour before my plane left, my desktop died, so I couldn't keep it on, so I couldn't access any of the files. But all of those files were up on Carbonite.com. I just pulled them down and I used them because the day in tech history really needed that because of the fact that I didn't upload all the episodes. I had to recreate episodes while I was in Las Vegas. So that's it's great to know that I have that opportunity there, and I'm really happy about it. So check it out yourself. Backup, it's the better backup plan. It's over at carbonite.com. Check it out. Everyone survive your computer disaster. If you are an individual, go over to geekazine.com/carbon free, geekazine.com/carbon free. But then again, if you are, if you're small to medium business, then check out geekazine.com/carbonite. Carbon free will get you a 15-day free trial, by the way, and Carbonite will get you a small to medium business solution. That's over at carbonite.com, where you back up now, back up often, and back up off-site. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, let's get into the show. Before we do, just want to let you know, if you want to contact me, Geekazine is all you think magazine, put in a geek. Geekazine, you've got it right there. Geekazine is my Twitter handle, geekazine@gmail.com. Hotline is still 608-205-4378. All right, we're going to start over at Microsoft's website. In about 40 minutes, they are going to announce their new CTO. Well, they announced it already, technically, but he's going to do first introductions. His name's Satya Nadella. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. SATYANADELLA. And he's been with Microsoft for something on the lines of 22 years. And he's officially stepping up into the CEO role and going from there. So it's interesting. He looks like he's ready and poised to go. He's got all the qualifications for it. I mean, he was born in India. He came to Bellevue, Washington. He's been with Microsoft for 22 years. He's got bachelor's of science. He's got an MBA. He's got MSCS, and he knows Microsoft, and it looks like it's a perfect fit for him. So I can't wait to see what's going on. Like I said, they're going to have something in about 40 minutes here from the live version. Of course, if you're watching it recorded from the recording, then that's already happened. So you can check that out. They've got all the stuff up there, up on Microsoft's website. We'll have a link straight to that, so you can check that out. Speaking of which, with his step up to CEO of Microsoft, Bill Gates has decided to step down as chairman of Microsoft. He's actually he's not really stepping down. He's kind of stepping sideways. He's actually going back to Microsoft, if you really think about it. Bill Gates will be stepping down as chairman of the board to take the new role as the tech advisor to Nadella. So Bill Gates he'll be an ear, and basically he's going to say, hey, maybe you should do this, or hey, maybe the new Xbox should do this. And so Bill Gates has a different type of say there. Of course, we'll see what happens there, and I don't know if they've announced a new chairman of the board. Hopefully the new chairman of the board is not going to be Steve Ballmer. I'm guessing Steve Ballmer's stepping down to retire, to be done. And so, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how the new Microsoft will start to play. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that Nadella is a great idea, a great CEO? Did they have another choice out there? I threw Kevin Rose's hat in there a few months ago. I think that, he would have done a great job. if he would have had that opportunity. So, but we'll see what happens. But let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, geekazine@gmail.com. All right. Next up here is Facebook is turned 10 today, 10 years old. Of course, Mark Zuckerberg started the Facebook back in 2004 in his dorm room. And of course, that then changed to Facebook. And now Facebook is got like 1.2 billion users worldwide. So happy birthday to Facebook. I've got my one share of stock that is now, I think it's officially doubled in price. So I'm really happy about that. So that is the paper version of my share of Facebook. That's not an actual share. It's just a place marker. But it is if you wanted one printed out, you got a share for a few shares of Facebook. You can get it printed out just like I did and display it on the wall. So congratulations to Facebook. A lot of people have been saying, "Oh, Facebook's gonna die. Facebook's getting ready to die. Oh, you're getting ready to die." Everybody's getting ready to die. What's up with that? Anyway, congratulations to Facebook. If you want to read more on that, we got the link over at USA Today. But just go over to geekazine.com. Go down in the show notes, and you'll get all the links right there. All right, like I said, Adi has joined on Geekazine to talk about games. So every week he'll be at least doing one post, maybe a couple posts. It really depends on him. If you want to be a blogger for Geekazine, just send me an email, geekazine@gmail.com. Say I blog here, give me some examples, and we'll get you set up here. So, but anyway, he's talking about the Fist of Awesome, which was a Kickstarter. I don't know if it's still a Kickstarter, but it's a game for Android and iOS. It costs about $2 in US for the Android or iOS version. But it's about a lumberjack who goes and corrects the timeline by punching bears to save humanity. You know, I had a job like that once. I don't think I had to punch a bear, but Anyway, I was a lumberjack. I'm okay. So anyway, but if you want to check out more on that, go over to geekazine.com and you can check out the article. And of course, the link I'll have, the links are all up there as well. All right, I was totally unprepared. I didn't put up the next articles here. Here we go. Let's go over to Ars Technica. Google Chrome has put a new feature in. It's warning when browsers have been hijacked. You'll get a pop-up window that will basically say, hey, there's something going on here. In fact, I think, yeah, here it is right here. There's a, let's pop it up here. It basically says reset. It's asking to reset the Chrome settings. If it's detected that the browser settings were changed without your knowledge, you can go back to the original defaults. Now, if you have multiple computers, Google Chrome is really cool because you can log in with a username and password, which you can then log into another machine and call up Chrome, put in your username and password, and then all of a sudden your settings go over there. Now, for me, I have several desktops and several laptops, this is perfect because I don't have to remember a username and password from one machine to the next machine. It just pulls it all over there, pulls up all the settings, and I'm happy. If I ever needed a Chromebook, I could log into a Chromebook and poof, all those settings would then load in and go from there. So really excited about that. And of course, with this, it gives a little bit of security. So you should still have all the malware and antivirus. You should still have that software figured out for your computer. Windows Defender does a great job. If you are not one of those people that click on links because it's like, ooh, pretty squirrel or something like that. You understand that, not all links are clickable. Just stay away from some links and you'll be fine. But then Defender, if you are more apt to get viruses put onto your computer, then you might want to go with something a little bit stronger, like, even the AVG and the Avast. I have Avast on one of the computers, AVG on one of the other computers, and so they both work really well. And then, of course, you have the other software, the paid software. And I'm actually, speaking of which, I'm really upset with McAfee and Adobe right now. And the reason why is this. Right before I started the show, I have my main Mac here, which does the recording, and then I have the PC over here, which has all the web pages loaded up. And it said basically, oh, we've got a new Adobe update for Flash Player. It's like, okay. So I pressed on that, and it started installing, and then it started saying installing McAfee Protection Plus or something like that. Never asked me if I wanted to install it. Not even a checkbox to uninstall. Not even a customizable thing. It just says, click here to install, and then all of a sudden it's installing everything. Very bad Adobe, bad McAfee. Simple as that. So anyway, this article over in Ars Technica, there's no article for the bad McAfee. It just came to the top of my head. That's what happens on the show. Every now and then something comes to the top of my head. Weird. Anyway, let's move on from there. We're going over the TNW. Twitter has done a redesign. And you might go, okay, well, it kind of looks the same. Let me call up my Twitter account here. You'll see my Twitter page, and I'll show you. It's set up more for mobile usage rather than desktop, because we're getting away from desktops and laptops. It makes sense. So here's the new look, and the difference is my email is current. As opposed to this right here, this title being, I think it was across the whole thing. It's now to the side, and when you get into a mobile environment, this pane should go away, and then you can actually see what's going on with all your friends, and go from there. So that's the new Twitter look. Mostly, I know a lot of you use. Whoops.
This is the tech.
Sorry, I know a lot of you people use third-party programs. I use Hootsuite myself for Twitter, so I don't normally come to this unless something I got to do something really quick. So, but maybe I'll start using the mobile version a little bit more. I don't know. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know. Geekazine Twitter. You saw my Twitter handle. That's right there. Geekazine@gmail.com and 608-205-4378. All right, Chromecast has now opened everything up to developers. Congratulations. What does that mean? That means that if you have a working knowledge and you develop apps, you could put Chromecast in anything. So if it's something that could really benefit from Chromecast, put it on. I could actually put a Geekazine Chromecast that would then go to my YouTube channel, or something similar to that. So you can see a lot of cool apps happening on there. Of course, you have to get the Google Cast Software Development Kit, or SDK, so you can put it on there. But I could put it on a web page. I could put it in an app. I could put it wherever I need to put it in to get video out there. And of course, whatever video I put out there has to be available to get pushed onto the Chromecast without being asked for a username and password and erroring out. So if you want to know more on that, we've got the link. It's over on Chrome's blog. So congratulations. What are you going to use? Are you going to actually put it into your Chrome stuff? Do you have thoughts of what you want to do? Are you a developer that want to help me get my videos out to more people? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine, and we'll go from there. All right, last part of part one. We'll get into part two here. And this is so cool. Last year, of course, we had Felix Baumgartner do the world record free fall from space, and we saw it, and it was like really cool. But we only got to see bits and pieces. Well, now, and this is over on Yahoo News, they've got the full story. GoPro apparently attached a bunch of cameras to this guy. And now they've taken all the video and they've processed it. It's a really nice video, and they give you markers like that, so you're seeing him fall, and then it'll stop for a second and says, "This is where we are. This is when he hit Mach 1." For example, that was the one thing I could remember. But it just a lot of information about the video, and then the full fall from top to bottom, and it's in 1080p. So you can put it onto your big TV and go from there. I'm really, really excited. Really excited when I saw that. It was just like, it is not it. You got to watch it but if you know if you don't like heights or something like that, you could get freaked out. It's that good. So check it all out. We've got the link over at Yahoo. Of course, you can go over to geekazine.com to get that and go from there. All right, that does it for part 1. We're going to get into part 2. I just have to do this really quick. There we go. We're going to get into part 2, and then we're going to talk about the credit card situation. We now know that our credit cards are old and antiquated, and we need to do something about it, because there's more and more companies coming forward saying that they've been breached by credit cards. And we're going to talk about that. But first of all, we're going to get into your Geek Smack section. You are at Geek Smack over on Geekazine. All right, and this part is brought to you by our friends over at Yes Video. Say yes to your video, and get those old videos, figured out and put back on and send out to friends. You know, like I said last week, I have an 8mm videos sitting in the basement of my parents, of me as a kid, even I think, and I'd like to take those videos, those films, and actually convert them into a digital format. You know, we've got beta tapes, and we don't even have a beta player anymore. I've got VHS tapes, and I don't have a VHS player anymore. 2 years ago, I tried to take some of my VHS tapes, and I hooked up the VHS player to the converter, and then I ran the tapes while I was kind of sitting there waiting as the whole thing converted, and it did an okay job. And then there were problems. There were some tracking line issues and stuff like that, and I had to deal with that. And finally, I did get some video up, but it wasn't as great as I wanted to. That's why you should have a program like Yes Video. What they do is you send them the films. They then turn around and they create videos that you can watch from anywhere. You can create and order custom DVDs with these. You can use them for whatever you need to use. I say, get these videos, get them converted, and then turn around and make viral videos out of them on YouTube of you as a kid. So you can check it out. You can share with your friends. You can share with your family. You can share with everybody out there and just do it simply by going over to geekazine.com/yes. Geekazine.com/yes, and check it out. And you can even get 20% off your order by using the promo code 20TR. 20TR. To get 20% off, and that's through us. So go over to geekazine.com/yes over at Yes Video. All right, let's get back into the news today. Actually, before we do that, let's do your Geekidia of the week. This week's Geekidia, I talk about it on my show over on howtorecordpodcasts.com. I'm a podcaster, of course, and I use software like this to put together shows like my iPad 365 and, of course, the special media when I do reviews of different programs. And this is Sony Movie Studio 13. This is the Platinum version, and they just came out with the upgrade. And the cool part about this upgrade is the fact that it's now set for touch screens and tablets. So if you've got a Surface, I don't know if you can use a Surface RT on it, but if you've got a Surface i5 processor, you need at least a 2 gigahertz processor in there. You can actually put this on there. You can start creating video. And whether it be a simple video or a more complex video like I do with my iPad 365, you can run video through Movie Studio and make it look pretty professional. Put in titles, put in lower thirds. I do green screen effects. I do a lot of other stuff. And there's 3 versions of Movie Studio. I use the Platinum version because it gives me more ability, and it also has now the ability to do 4K video. And I've actually done conversion in 4K, and I'm going to do some testing up on YouTube and see how it works, if they'll allow me to do 4K to begin with. So we'll see what happens there. But go over Movie Studio 13 Platinum. It's for PCs, and of course, it's now set up for tablets. And create your own videos. Become the YouTube sensation that you always wanted to be. And of course, go over there, and that'll help me keep the lights on with the website and everything like that. So, all right, let's get back into the show here. and we're gonna start over on Read Write Web. AT&T has found a way to charge you twice for internet. At least not yet, but very soon. And I read this article and I go, well, this kind of okay, this makes sense a little bit. So here's what the deal is. You have, let me, there we go. AT&T has applied for a patent that would let it discriminate between what's called permissible and non-permissible traffic on the network. Non-permissible data, it would actually give AT&T, turn AT&T and actually make a walled garden of the internet. So the permissible data would then be on your regular plan. If you wanted anything non-permissible, you would actually have to pay for it. So the patent goes, it's a user of communications network is prevented from consuming an excessive amount of channel bandwidth by restricting use of the channel in accordance of the type of data being downloaded to the user. The user is provided an initial number of credits. As the user consumes the credits, the data being downloaded is checked to determine if it's permissible or non-permissible. Non-permissible data includes file sharing, files, and movie downloads if the user subscription does not permit such activity. So, you could have your Hulu could be completely banned from your phone unless you have non-permissive data plan. Netflix, or anything like that. It would also mean, file sharing and stuff like that, but, that's anything illegal. You shouldn't be doing anywhere. But file sharing is just an example. But it literally could say, here's your data plan, and here's your non-permissive data plan, where you can actually watch movies and TV shows. But you can't do that on your phone right now. So it's interesting, but I can't. So that would mean that AT&T could charge maybe $10, $20 for, somebody that's just going to check their Facebook and email, because it's a small footprint. But if you watch movies, TV shows on your phone, that's a bigger footprint. I kind of like the idea, especially if it's going to knock down my bill by $30, $40 a month. Maybe. I don't watch too many movies on my phone. I don't watch, but I do a lot of data transfer. I do a lot of Facebooking. I do a lot of emails, some games, but mostly it's all about social networking for me, and not as much movies. So, what do you think? Do you watch a lot of movies on your phone? Do you watch TV shows? Do you because the people that take the bus or the subway, they're watching their TV shows as instead of sitting there waiting for their stop. That's a possibility. I don't know. It's just not in my daily plan. So what do you think about this? Do you think that AT&T should not have that ability to separate what's on the internet? It's all about that net neutrality, and they just want to bring it back. So let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine. Of course, geekazine@gmail.com. All right. Well, we all heard about this Google barge, but California doesn't like it. They don't like no Google barge. They said, hey, that guy got to go. I have no idea why I'm sounding like that. But no, they basically told Google that they do not have permission to construct the floating showroom at Treasure Island. They have to move it to an approved location. And so the BCDC executive director, Larry Goldsban, said that Google must move the barge to an approved construction location. So it's a 1 day, it's going to be their floating showroom and demonstration space. So they'll be able to do Google Glass and autonomous cars there. And it's actually pretty big. So, and of course we had the barges. There's one barge in Maine and one barge in California right now. So interesting stuff. I figured that they'd get all these permits all figured out before they start putting big old barges in the water. I don't know. What do you think? Are you excited to see that Google's coming out with a barge, or are you going, no, they should just build a showroom? When California does drop, that will probably be the one thing that's left standing, possible. So, anyway, check it all out. We got the link in the show notes, but let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine. All right. Are you ready for the iPhone 6 rumors? It's the 8th generation iPhone, and they're calling it iPhone 6. I have a feeling, here's my plea to Tim Cook. You rename the iPad Air. It's time to rename the iPhone. It's not an iPhone 6. It's the 8th generation iPhone. It would technically be the iPhone 8. So just get rid of the number. Call it the iPhone Air. Call it the whatever you want to call it. Just get rid of it. But anyway, over at Yahoo and BGR, they've got a whole bunch of reports on Apple's plans to launch their new iPhone models. Now, they're saying they're going to launch 2 iPhone models again. Even though the iPhone 5C didn't really pan out for them too much, I think they're going to give it a try again. Maybe not make it as low cost as the 5S, but in the end, everybody wanted the gold iPhone 5S. It was as simple as that. Gold or champagne, but you didn't want a 5C. So we'll see what happens. They're going to launch 2 iPhone models. One of the big rumors is the bigger screen. But the other rumor, and this is, I'm backing this, and this is all about that iWatch. And I've said this multiple times. iWatch will be more than just a watch. Samsung has the watch with the Bluetooth connectivity, all well and good. But Apple made a very conscious effort to separate the processor and the coprocessor so it could do a whole bunch of stuff while the iPhone or the iPad was sitting there and not being charged and not losing all of its power simply because it's sending information back and forth. And the one thing I think that they're going to really work in is the healthcare industry, because we're talking billions of dollars in the healthcare industry. And if a doctor has an iPad, if a nurse has an iPad, if they have an iWatch, or if they can put an iWatch on a patient, and that iWatch then monitors everything about the patient, the heart rate, the blood pressure, and everything like that, they're going to win. And this is a great direction to go in. So I think the iWatch, when it comes out, or whatever they call it, the iWatch Air or whatever, it will actually have sensors in it that will monitor a whole bunch of stuff like that. Now, a lot of factors are basically back what I said. Like, for instance, Apple has hired on some healthcare executives. But the bottom line is it just makes sense. Get it into the healthcare industry, and then you can even set it up so you have a healthcare pack. So if somebody builds a new hospital or goes to it becomes a medic in a third world country, they get their iPad, they get their iWatch, way to charge it up, of course, and then all that, and then they go out to wherever they're going to help people with whatever health needs that they need, and have all that information at their fingertips. So amazing stuff. But a lot of different other rumors on there. Some of you, the other big thing is gaming. Lots of rumors on that. So if you want to read that, we've got the link over at yahoo.com. But let me know, what do you really want to see on that iPhone 6 or the 8th generation iPhone? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. All right. Net neutrality is back. Of course, I talked about it for a second for that other situation with AT&T, but now the Democrats in the Senate have introduced new legislation that could give the FCC authority to bring back net neutrality rules and come with what they're calling a more legal fix. And I don't know, in some aspects, I'm thinking to myself, net neutrality is going to make a safer internet, but on the other hand, it also means that a lot of people can close up parts of the internet and go from there. So as long as the rules are fair, then I could see it. But there's 2 bills, and they've got the links to the bills that were introduced on Monday, weeks after federal court threw out all the net neutrality rules. They adopted the rules. The FCC had adopted the rules, which were meant to ensure that the broadband providers couldn't block access or discriminate against internet traffic. And that's basically what it's all about. So Verizon, of course, challenged those rules in the court. The D.C. Circuit Court struck down those rules and rejected Verizon's argument that the FCC does not have authority to regulate the internet, and that's the way that it should be. And like I said, with AT&T putting their non-discriminate discriminate internet together, they're trying to find a new way around it, or they're putting together a patent. So if it does get passed, then they say, okay, here we go, we've got it. Nobody else can have it too, and that's the cool thing. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like I said, if it makes things a little bit safer, no, not even that. It's not worth it. There's too many loopholes. There's too many problems. So what do you think? Do you think we need net neutrality? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. We got a couple more articles, then we're going to talk about credit cards and their safety and how we need to start thinking about a new way to actually use our payments, because, online payments, you don't get those paper bills anymore. And that's pretty important to kind of keep track of what you're paying for. Otherwise, you can give the money to me. I'll give you my PayPal account, geekazine@gmail.com. Send me money. Send me all your money. I'll gladly grab it. Anyway, let's move on from there. We're going over to Ars Technica. Chromecast, of course, that you think of Chromecast as that little dongle that you put in the back of the TV. You don't even see it. But Chromecast and Chrome they want to take the Chrome OS into new areas. So now Asus has picked up and they've created what's called the Chromebox. Chromebox is a $179 fanless mini desktop. It's using the Intel Haswell CPU. It's designed for Chrome. Of course, it's basically a computer. It's like having a Chromebook, except without keyboard, mouse, and monitor. Got to find your own stuff right there. It's got USB ports in the front and the back. It's got an HDMI port. It's got a DisplayPort connection. Let me show you this. And of course, a place for audio. Ethernet jack. I'm assuming there's going to be wireless in there as well, and a few other things. I think there's this place for the SD card. So it's going to also be a Core i3, 1.7 gigahertz and 2.1 gigahertz, Core i7, and up to 4 gigabytes of RAM. So technically, this box could actually run the program that I'm using to create all of this and actually give it to you. Actually do a better job than even my laptop right now. I don't think they mentioned what the graphics card in there, but I'm hoping that there's going to be a good graphics driver in there, GPU in there. But the other thing is that it doesn't have a fan to it. It doesn't need fanned cooling, which I guess the Chrome Samsung's version of this Chromebox, or whatever they called it, did have a fan to it. So the idea is no fan, then you don't hear the fan while you're watching TV, and everything's good. Like my Roku, it doesn't have a fan in it. The Apple TV doesn't have a fan in it. So we can watch TV and not have to worry about that. So interesting stuff there. It's even got a Kensington lock slot in there, just in case you need to lock it down. So they're looking at it for kiosks. They're looking at it for putting into hotel rooms. I've talked to a couple hotels, and they've talked about how they really want to put stuff like this into the hotel rooms so people have more choice of watching what they need to watch. So, interesting stuff. We'll see how it all unfolds, but would you pay $179 for this box? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine or geekazine@gmail.com. Pebble the App Store for Pebble is now live. Of course, Pebble announced the new versions of Pebble, and of course, a lot of other apps. You can go over to their App Store and check it all out. Looks like they've got some cool apps like Dots and Weather and some other stuff. Show some pictures, tools and utilities. The App Store, you'll be able to get free apps. You'll be able to get paid apps. And, put it onto your watch and go from there. So if you want to check out more on that, go over to ubergizmo.com. Once again, we'll have the link in the show notes to get there. If you are an Amazon Prime user, you might want to maybe think about actually paying for next year's Amazon Prime, because Amazon is considering up to a $40 price hike on there. Right now, it's it's about $80 a month, or I'm sorry, $80 a year to actually get to have Amazon Prime, and I have Amazon Prime, and that comes up in June, and it's great because you make the one payment and then you don't think about it for a whole year. So bringing it up to about $99 to $120 for the year. I don't have a problem with that in all reality, because you get two day shipping on a lot of products. You get the Kindle library with a lot of books that you can check out and read for free, and then of course the movies in their Prime movie area, which they have a lot of great ones. So I don't have a problem with this $40 hike. I think it's right. I mean, we're talking like $10 it's less than $10 a month, right? It's like $8 a month. So they're gonna hike it up to $10 a month. It's business. They want to put out all these droids and stuff like that. I'm sorry, drones. Well, droids and drones. Why not? So, what do you think? Do you think that it's too much? Would you actually get rid of your Prime subscription? Let me know. Twitter me over at Geekazine and tell me what you think. Going over to the Wall Street Journal, Twitter has acquired more than 900 patents from IBM. Remember, Twitter used to have only like 2 patents to their name. And now they've got over 900 patents from IBM. They entered into a patent cross-license agreement. There was no disclosure on the deal, but basically Twitter disclosed that it had received a letter from IBM that claimed that it had infringed on at least 3 of the U.S. patents. And so in order to rectify this, they decided to work out this agreement. So now Twitter has a boatload of patents. So if any other company tries to go after them, or even if IBM tries to go after them, they can't do it anymore. So congratulations to Twitter. It's a great service, and a lot of people say, well, Twitter's gonna be gone next year or whatever. It's got so much to it that it would be like saying the landline telephone was going to go away next year. Even though you might not have one in your home, you might have one in some way, shape, or form, maybe a Google Voice line or maybe a business line or something like that. It's not going to go away, bottom line. So, all right. And then, of course, this last article, this actually kind of really irked me. There is a YouTube person out there. Basically, they're going, making $100,000 on YouTube. Yeah, it's great. That's a great idea. But you have to do a lot of stuff, and when it's all said and done, that you could be spending 60 to 80 hours to make $100,000 a year. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, where do I sign up? I do a lot of videos, and my YouTube channel is doing pretty good right now. It's not at the $100,000 a year thing or anything like that. But, to become a YouTube celebrity, the way that YouTube wants me to become a YouTube celebrity, I'd have to sit here and I have to do like the zoom in, zoom out angles and stuff like that. And then different switches back and forth and saying stuff and doing quirky stuff, like going like this or like this or anything like that. And it works great for a lot of YouTubers. But some of the YouTubers, they've come up with shows that have what I call expirable content, and which is bad because in 3 weeks, whatever they put together is pointless. But then you have evergreen content, which 3 months from now could still be important. Like, for instance, I have a video up there that talks about the differences between the Chromecast, the Roku, the Apple TV, and Chromecast, Apple TV, Roku, and I thought there was a fourth one. Anyway, the whole point is that there's people that still watch it. It's 3 months from now, 4 months, 6 months from now, when the new Roku comes out, when the new Apple TV comes out, and I'm doing pretty good with that video. If you make videos like that, that makes your YouTube channel really kick. But apparently, this person, her name's Olga K, Olgak. And she's a YouTube celebrity, She's got somewhere on the lines of, what was it, like 80,000? No, more than that. Olga K. I looked it up. Let me look it up again. Um, she's got a lot of fans on her YouTube channel, and her videos somewhere on the lines of 7,000, no, more than 7,000, 70,000 or something like that. And she's got 695,000 subscribers. Her videos hit around 40 to 80,000 or more. There's one for 30,000 and stuff like that. And she's complaining about how she ends up making $100,000 to $130,000 a year, and then she's got to reinvest in the company, in her what she's doing, and then she's got to be worried because her videos might not be viral. Well, let's put this down on the table, because you're all thinking, I know it's Olga K has got a big advantage to doing these videos over somebody like me. Why? She's a woman. Simple as that. And and that's, there's a lot of guys that do stuff like this, and there's a lot of guys that do stuff like this that really come out and get some good numbers for YouTube. And but it's that she's part of a minority when it comes to coming out with videos. So, and there's a lot of people out there that are just going to watch it just to kind of watch it because there's a girl on there, and that it is what it is. And I talk about that all the time with Jennifer, and it's like, because I ask her every now and then, do you want to do a YouTube video? And she goes, no, I don't want to do a YouTube. I don't want to be in front of the public like that. And that's a lot of mentality. And part of it is, she goes, one of the things is, I don't want all those people that sit there and go, huh, huh, you're hot, huh, huh, you're hot. And it happens. And I bet you Olga K has to deal with that all the time. So she's got that advantage, but she's also got that, there's also that disadvantage there to her. Now, looking at her videos, I can understand why she's a little bit frustrated making 20 videos a week. Some of her videos are just kind of, they're really fodder. There's nothing to them. I mean, I guess she's got some running joke that she says, "Hey, I'm pregnant," in the video. And there's only so many times that she can say, "Hey, I'm pregnant," in the video, and people believe her. So it's just, it is what it is. So and the reality is this: if you want to make, you're saying you're making 100 to 130,000 videos, and she also goes, well, we've just found out that we were making like $9 and some odd cents per thousand. Now that's down to $7 per thousand. But yet your videos are making let's say you make 20,000. That's 20 times 7. That's $140 right there on one video. What's wrong with that? Some people don't make $140 in a day. You're making $130,000 in a year. Here's an idea. Cut down the number of videos. You don't want to do 20 videos a week? Do 10 videos a week. You're only making $50,000 a year. Guess what? You're hitting a national average. You want to do 5 videos? Yeah, you're going to make $25,000 a year, and then all of a sudden you're technically in poverty. So you want to make 20 videos? You want to make $100,000? That's how you do it. I bet you if you do sit down and make half the amount of videos that you make and put a little bit more time into those videos, you might actually like what you put out there, and you might actually make more money in what you put out there because people will understand and respect what you do. Simple as that. And I don't mean to go on this rant, but I've toyed with this idea of actually going back and forth and doing the jokey stuff, and make my show more like the way that Lamar Wilson, for example, does his show, and which is great, and he's got a great style and everything like that, and I could definitely do that, but that's not what the style I want to portray. I want to be quirky. I want to be a little bit, off kilter on some of my stuff, but not all the time. I still want you to understand where I come from, and if you've got a serious question, I'm a person to ask that serious question. Simple as that. And Lamar does a great job. I saw him at CES, and we talked for a few minutes, and I don't mean to put anything past him, and I really don't mean to put anything over on Olga, because she's doing a great job. She's making $100,000 a year to do this. But once again, if you're not happy with what you do, figure out how to change it, or just move on and do something else. Anyway, like I said, I'll get off that. I apologize on that. I went a little bit long, but it bothers me when somebody's sitting there and going, "Oh, I'm on top of the world," and I don't like it. It's so, and anyway, I'm done. I'm done. Okay, let's move on from there. Let's talk about the main subject here. We're gonna do that in a minute, and then I gotta go because Microsoft's gonna be doing this whole thing. So you're watching Geek Smack over on Geekazine. It's more than just 750 channels that the Roku can offer that gives you all that content. Each channel can have sub-channels in it, so you can have tens of thousands of hours of video watching and game playing out of your Roku. And prices only start at $49.99. Of course, the Roku 3 for $99.99, and of course you can get the games, you get the game remote as well, and then the privacy mode where you can plug in your headphones right in the remote. That's perfect for when your partner is sleeping, but you want to watch something on TV. Lots of great stuff from Angry Birds to Amazon to Hulu, and of course the Tech Podcast channel. Let me show you this really quick. This is how you get to some of the content from Geekazine on the Tech Podcast channel. You just go into the Tech Podcast video, and you're going to go into Tech News, and you're going to find like the special events, iPad 365, Geek Smack, and a whole bunch more. A lot of other tech podcast shows right on that Roku for you, right at your fingertips, right through the remote. And then, of course, you can get your Netflix, you can get your Amazon, you can get your Hulu just as easy, and many more channels. PBS, we've got Redbox Instant, TV Guide, Sci-Fi Channel, and much more. Check it out. It's all over at Roku. Remember, geekazine.com/Roku. Of course, that helps me keep the lights on for all my shows. Thank you very much. And go over where streaming is made simple. You might think that the great credit card hack happened last November at Target stores nationwide. The reality is, hacking for credit card numbers has been an issue for many, many years. Do you remember the big TJX card theft in 2007? It was one of the biggest because they stole 45.5 million credit cards over a few months' time. Now we're starting to hear more about companies having that same problem that Target had. First, it was Neiman Marcus. Now, if you've used your credit card in certain white lodging hotels, and that includes Hilton, Marriott, Sheraton, and Westin hotels, you might have to watch your statements for fraudulent charges there. By the way, if you were you charged $9.84? You might be paying for a money-making online program that you might not have even signed up for. The only one making money, by the way, is the people that are actually charging you $9.84. So the bottom line is the almighty credit card and subsequent debit card that you grew up with and you use every single day is not that secure. Now, we put ourselves at risk every day. According to creditcards.com, 1.5 billion own a debit credit card, while another 176 million own credit cards, even though there's 1.5 billion credit cards out there in the United States alone. It means a lot of businesses are using credit cards as well. Now, here's the kicker. We have better credit card technology than we could actually implement it, but we haven't. It doesn't make any sense here. But when I first, let me back up a second because I'm getting a little bit on this. I was first told when I was first told that my credit cards might be involved, I actually went over and to find out, is there a way for me to really monitor my credit cards? And I found that Visa has a V.me, which would help me monitor my purchases. It's a cool concept, but every time that I charge on the card, I get a text message saying that the charge was made. I even found the monthly purchase I was making that I thought I canceled 8 months ago, but turned out I didn't, so I actually canceled the charge, and so I don't continue to get charged on it. So did you know that the US credit card is actually way behind the UK system for protection? They have what's called a chip and pin method, which basically has reduced fraud cases by 4 times. And the interesting fact is the technology has been around since 2004. It's called EMV, Europay, MasterCard, and Visa. It does require us to remember a PIN number that we enter when we use the card. Some say that this is actually a pain trying to remember a PIN, and some say that they might get more service calls because somebody forgot their PIN number. But if your credit card is 4 times safer, wouldn't you want to do that and hire a few people extra to actually reset a PIN number? There have also been talks that through the years about using other things such as fingerprint identification programs with your card. So you basically push a fingerprint and it registers your fingerprint with your card. Now, this has been widely discussed and disputed due to the fact that somebody's actually got to collect and have a database out there of your fingerprint data that could possibly become hacked itself or even shared with other companies. Stopping fraud is best handled by users knowing who's charging them and what they're getting charged for, and then calling the companies when something goes awry. With an annual $190 billion in fraudulent charges, cutting that by 4 is really a great start. What do you think on that? Do you think that we don't think about our credit cards? Like I said, I got charged for 8 months. It was like $15 a month for 8 months, and I could have turned that off if I would have had that V.me set up before. It's a great thing. I love it when anything charges. When Hootsuite charges my credit card, I get it right there. When I had Amazon actually sent a charge, and it sent it to my old card because my old card just got turned off, and it even says, "Hey, it got declined over there." So I got to make arrangements so they actually get their money, but it gives me a more sense of security and safety on there. So, what do you think? Let me know. Do you think that we should overhaul the credit card system in America? Let me know by tweeting me over at Geekazine. Of course, geekazine@gmail.com. Excuse me. All right. That does it for this episode of Geek Smack. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening over on Stitcher and over on iTunes. We will not be here next week as I'm in Vegas, and then in 2 weeks I will be there. I will be doing the show for you, so come back then, and we'll do it live on 2 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays over at Geek Smack or youtube.com/Geekazine. Until then, you guys geek out and take care.